I hope you all are doing well. This is a movie review and a much deeper look on spirituality and having an open mind, and just knowing that you never know where life is going to take you. Never think you get to the point where you know everything. Um, so this is about a journey of spirituality. And in this movie, there's a young man. His name is Pacine, but his name is shortened to Pi. This is also a story of reinventing yourself. So he was made fun of a lot because of his name was Pacine, and so they would just say pissing, like he's pissing all over the place, right? So he reinvented himself, and he started calling himself Pi. And in doing that, he took on, a whole nother character, and he was a very intelligent young man. He even remembered the long mathematic fact of the number of pi, which is 3.14, and that's just shortened, but he remembered the entire thing. And I think it goes on for a very, very long time. But he remembered that, and he became known for that, so he changed his persona. He changed what people thought and believed of him, and the fact that people were making fun of him. All right, so his family, the mom was heavy on Hinduism, and Hinduism has many, many, many gods. All right, but his father was more on the non-religious side, more of a free thinker, open thinker. All right, so Pacine was also introduced to Catholicism. He was introduced to Christianity. At one point, he even wanted to get baptized. So his father said, just be rational. And with being rational, he was guiding him and, kind of encouraging him to understand what science says. Because if you're truly looking for a higher power, you're looking for the creator, look to science. I am not saying that science is God. What I am saying is God, or the gods, the creator is in science, and I thought that was a really, really good way to direct a child that's trying to find himself and find his spirituality, is to look in science. With us in our creation, with human beings, with nature and animals and the trees and all of these things, the water, the ocean. So I thought that was a really, really good piece of advice for him to give a child that was seeking a higher understanding of life and of the world and of religion. Also, his father made a statement. He said, a man that believes in everything is a man that believes in nothing at all. Okay, so in a sense, he was kind of telling him to narrow it down, get a really good understanding of some things, instead of just pecking all over the place, and not having a good solid foundation. And so he was basically saying, science, nature, that's going to give you a good solid foundation. Hi, what do I do, Chris? You mean like my my full-time occupation? Montreal, gullible. Who's gullible? I don't explain, because I don't know what you mean. Also, in this family, they were vegetarians, and Pi made a statement. He said, being hungry will lead you to doing things that you never thought you'd do. And I took that in two ways. I took that as a physical hunger, because my grandma had a saying as well. She used to say, a hungry man will catch at a straw. And Pi was hungry in a spiritual sense, because he was catching at everything. He was trying to grab at everything. But I love his family, because his family was open and loving, and they let him be himself. They let him roam. They let him discover. And I thought that was really, really beautiful. So also in this movie, it gives a really good point to live with animals, live at peace with them as much as we can, to understand them, because the animals actually saved Pi's life. At one point, he ended up on a poisonous island, and the behavior of the animals actually saved him, because The animals can feel and they can sense what nature is doing. So when that island was becoming poisonous and the water was becoming poisonous, Pi knew, he should probably follow the lead of the animals. Another very, very important thing is survival. The survival tips in this movie are are beyond. A lot of them went over my head, but there are some very basic things that we should know. And this is probably my third time watching The Life of Pi. It was my husband's first time, and I really enjoyed watching that with him, because I saw when his eyes opened up, and even things that I missed the first couple times, I picked it up when I watched it for the third time. All right, a man who believes in everything. All right, hello. So where was I? Yeah, so listen to the animals, because they could teach us a lot. So let's see here. Something else that I picked up is the fact that a lot of major religions, they believe in miracles, right? But when Pi was telling his story to the insurance company and to the reporters, they didn't believe him. They said, tell us a story that we can believe. Tell us a story that the public will accept. And that's the funny thing. We have all these books and these stories and religious texts, but when someone truly has a miraculous story, do we truly believe them? We think they're crazy, just like Jesus. He came, he did things differently, and people thought he was a heretic. And I posted a short, and I hope you all go and watch it, because they had people in an uproar. I posted a short with the R&B singer Barry White, and Barry White was saying that he made himself a god because he took control of his life. Basically, that's what he was saying. And people went into an uproar. Some people agreed, some people disagreed. They started pulling all these scriptures out, and I'm like, okay, but the Bible actually says that we are gods. Ye are gods. And Jesus, or Yeshua himself, actually quoted that. I apologize, my phone went hot. But yeah, they thought Jesus or Yeshua was a heretic when he came and he started doing things differently, and he started giving people grace. But what a lot of people don't understand is that Jesus, when he came, or Yeshua came, he was looking for his fellow tribesmen, the 12 tribes of Israel. But these are people that had been scattered. They didn't remember the law. They didn't know how to practice the law. They didn't even remember the law and what to do. So he was saying, have grace on these people because they do not know any better. Okay, that's what he was saying. And they called him a heretic and all of these things, but he understood the bigger picture. You cannot win souls if you have this grandiose idea of who you are and what people should be doing. Stop. Close your mouth, have an open mind of where those people actually are in their lives before you start judging. All right, it's one thing to judge a man who knows. It's another thing to judge a man who does not know and doesn't understand. I had so much respect for Pi. If you haven't seen The Life of Pi, I highly recommend it. I think it was nominated for four Oscars, I think. But yeah, at such a young age, he has such an open mind. And I want to, touch on that young age, because a lot of us are molded and groomed to think a certain way, to think about God and spirituality in a certain way when we are so young. So we're brainwashed, we're conformed, and all of these different things to one particular way of thinking. And that's what I loved about Pi, is his mind was always open. He had a loving, understanding family that allowed him to have an open mind. And, those that are free are people who start with an open mind. You cannot learn if you do not have an open mind. You cannot learn if you think you know everything. And I don't know everything, but I think I know one thing. To truly understand God is to know that you will never understand God. We will never understand everything. We will never know everything. We're just playing a guessing game. Yes, we have books and scholars and all of these different things, but even books can be wrong. You know, people's perceptions and understandings and, you know, their breakdown of things can be wrong. So we'll never truly know the truth. But we do get glimpses of the Creator in creation. I can say that. So the last and final point that I got from that movie is you never truly start living until you come face to face with death. And he came face to face with death many times in that movie, because he was stuck on a boat with wild animals and he was stuck out in the middle of the ocean by himself for over 200 days, believe that or not. But if anybody came closer to God, it would have been him. And I admire my husband as well, because my husband had a similar story, not quite as long as Pi, but he did spend the night out in the ocean alone, in the dark, nothing but him, the ocean, nature, and the stars. And miraculously, you know, people came and found him the next day. But can you imagine being out there with no artificial light, just the light that's coming from the natural sky, all alone, not knowing what's beneath you, not knowing what could come from above you, you know? And that's when you truly, I believe, find your higher purpose, your calling. You find a higher power, is when you come face to face with the fact that you could meet your demise. So that's my spiel on that. I'm going to go and read some comments. Can you get a shout out? Of course. I'm the, let's see how to pronounce that. I'm the height. I'm the kite. I think that's how to pronounce that. Hello, Ice. How are you all doing today? Yeah, let's see. Are you Sigma? What is Sigma? What do you mean by Sigma? Celator 1229. Let's see. Damn, you're so chopped. I'm sorry, my phone got hot, and hopefully, you know, a lot of this is going over smoothly, but forgive me, my phone went hot. That's the thing about iPhones. All right. Hey girl, what's your thoughts on saying that once you go white, you always stay tight? I don't know anything about that. You're in the 3rd grade? Oh wow. You're on here in the 3rd grade. Okay. Oh, it's Kai. Okay, gotcha. All right, well, thank you all. If you don't have any more questions, comments, or concerns for me, thank you for joining me today, and you all be blessed.